Here we are again. We're back. Botched Wrestling Podcast. I lost count again. I should probably start writing these down somewhere.
We
We're gonna
should, but 23 or 24.
let's go 24 because it's Kobe's number, and I like that number. That works for me,
Good,
and it's even.
good
You know, I got enough
good enough.
odd things happening to me. Um, we're gonna start this off a little bit different tonight, then. Just a
Oh,
tad bit different.
oh, oh.
Tad bit different.
Breaking the format, huh?
Hmm. I think so. I think so. I think things are gonna be a little bit um, yeah, we should switch this up. I think it's only right because we do cover both big time promotions. I think soon we're going to be saying all three of the big time promotions because if TNA does move into the old Full Sail complex, I think that's really going to put them up a whole other level, which is cool. My only issue with it, I can't add the TNA channel to my YouTube TV package. I think it's only on DirecTV somehow or something. So that's kind of crappy. But I will eventually get that channel somehow, some way. Um, let's start talking about AEW, Dan.
Do it.
Because I'm a company guy usually, right? We walked down the toy aisle today. My son picked out his first belt. I could die a happy man. I mean, that's all I needed right there. That's all I needed. Picked out a tag belt. I had to remind him that his last name is not for the mid card. That's for damn sure. So let's try and raise our expectations there, son. You know.
Look, everybody's got to start somewhere, Jim.
Yeah. Well, I don't care. He's better than Logan Paul already. That's all I'm saying. But AEW
AEW?
AEW.
Jim wants to talk AEW to start a show? What is going on? Is this episode 1? What happened here?
I am critical on them, but I still tune in when it's good and when it's needed. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you like somebody that we know and say, "Oh, I don't watch it," and then all of a sudden I'm out buying every single action figure they come out with. I mean, that's not gonna happen here. Um, yeah, I mean, back in Boston, right? This is their second time, I believe, in Boston, or third time. No, I believe it's their third time in Boston. Um, Seems like they always get a decent crowd for Boston. I know ratings weren't what they expected, right?
No, not exactly.
Um, which is a question we could talk about after the show if you want. But it was AEW Big Business, correct? That's the title because I've been calling it Big Bank for at least like 2 weeks now. So, um,
It's definitely big business.
so if I'm just going off of the Western New York All Star, that is Brandon Thurston, aka the legend himself. Um, he had an estimated tweet from 2 days ago at around 7 p.m. saying, as of the latest estimation from WrestleTix, how Big Business compares to other Dynamite events since January 2023. It wasn't final at this time, but they were around 7,779 tickets. That's almost 1,500 to 2,000 tickets lower than like their other AEW Dynamite shows. So, for instance, it takes into account a Seattle show, January 2023, a Inglewood, California show, January 11th, 2023, Boston, July 19th, 2023, Flushing's, September 2023. So, as of what I've seen from him, I could check real quick just to see what it is. You know, but I mean, that's not great. If it was around there, both be honest here. We don't think those tickets probably skyrocket from there, right? Like it's probably close to that 7,700, right? Like it's not like we're fabricating everything here, like Uncle Dave. 801,000 viewers, 0.27 between the 18 to 49 rating. Even with Mercedes, they can't get into the nines. I mean,
no.
So, I mean, we could run through the card real quick. I have it up. Let me just pull this up, and then we could get back to talking about this because, I mean, it was a. What would you give this card out of 10?
I didn't, to be honest, I didn't really watch too much of it after the
Okay.
beginning. I just kind of had it on in the background while I was doing stuff, so I don't know that I could give it a rating, but I just wanted to see what they were doing with Mercedes, and then
So
I meant to watch. I wanted to see Darby and Jay White, but I didn't. So I could only go off what I read. Like, I didn't think it was anything special of a show based on what I saw in clips I watched
So-
after the fact.
so the one thing that I do like that AEW can sometimes pull off, right, is with Tony signing everybody that has a pulse, you are able to do a public live event on regular TV on a Wednesday night, right? Just based on who's the roster.
Yeah.
So I give the card itself a 9 out of 10. I think they did a great job putting the card together. The way that the card played out, I would probably give it a 7 out of 10. I thought it was decent. I mean, to be honest, I could care less that Okada is with Matt and Nick Jackson now. Especially when Okada has come out and said that he still has time to headline a WrestleMania. So it definitely shows like he's not there for a long time. I think they reported he only signed a 3-year deal for like 40-something million, so it came to like over 13 a year. Which is wild because this promotion does not make any profit. So that's a whole other different podcast for a different day. But real quick, it started off with some Boa Joe defending the title against Wardlow. I thought Joe could do all that he could with Wardlow. I don't think he's bad. I just don't think he's at a point where you put a world title on him yet. I would say, if anything, you could put that TNT title on him, and that worked fine. And just basically have him continue to run through everybody. Because I feel like that builds up his stock. Is like, listen, he had this title, and nobody's come close to beating him. Here's our Goliath. Here's our beast incarnate. Take a shot at him, right?
Yep.
After that, it was the Elite Kazuki Okada against Matt and Dick Jackson versus Eddie Kingston, Pac, which I'm glad to have Pac back. He's still phenomenal, in great shape. And the Red Penta. So is that the Evil Penta now? Just so I can... It's been a while since I've seen Penta.
No, that's the black one, when he's in all black.
Okay.
The Oscuro, I think.
Okay, that's the Evil Penta. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, because I was trying to brainstorm this and talk this out loud, and my wife thought I was losing it. So I had to explain. He has multiple apparel, and she called him, he has different outfits. And then that's when we were done having that conversation.
I love it.
Yeah. And then Jay White, Darby Allin. Jay White beats Darby. Darby was balls to the wall again.
As usual.
As usual. You think they're ever going to find somebody to, like, talk Darby into slowing it down? To, like, learn how to build it up?
No.
I don't think so either. I
I
think
also tend to think. I mean, I don't. He hasn't like necessarily said it that I'm aware of, but I think he also kind of like isn't expecting to wrestle for 20 more years.
no, he's going full blow into this. Like he's destroying that body.
Right, but I don't. Right, and part of that is because I don't think he like. I think he thinks he probably only has 5 years, and that's all he cares about. Like,
Yeah,
tough break. I don't know. Did you see what I sent you right before we started?
I did not look at your text, but I got the email from Sean, as I call him, Seanery. Darby Allin broke his foot, so now he's not doing Everest.
That's tough break. That
So
is a
it,
tough
it
break.
it has to push it back at least a year, I think, because this is the time frame that everybody tries to shoot up and go. So it's like, I mean, let me check that, make sure, but yeah, I
That is
mean,
a rough one, man. I feel
yeah,
bad
because
for him.
he's been yeah, so March, April, May, October, and November. So maybe in the fall he tries to go then, because a broken foot is at least 6 to 8 weeks, so that's 2 months.
I mean, he said next year, so his tweet said next year. His own tweet said next year.
Okay,
So
so probably this time next year he's gone
yeah,
again.
maybe. I mean, my guess is like maybe he had a set amount of time already scheduled off, but now he'll just take the injury time, right? Because he
Yeah,
got injured on the job. They'll deal with that, and then he'll probably just continue to wrestle, and yeah, just bump this a year. So
yeah, it's
tough, tough break. I feel bad for him.
yeah, because he's been training for over 2 years. He originally said, right, for this, like,
Yeah.
and he sold everything because he's like, if I die, I die, which is just like BDE, BDE, like just yeah, if I die,
Big Darby energy.
yeah, yeah, that's exactly what it stands for on this kid-friendly show. Um, yeah, it's crazy because I was telling my wife about that story originally, how he's gonna go up to Everest and do that. So she was like telling me like all the different trails and like how long it actually takes and so on and so on. And now it's like this kid's like bucket list thing is kind of like, all right, well, let's hope I can stand in a year from now. Like, which is wild because of how hard he goes. Like, I'm afraid, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
he could easily tear something. But anyways, so I guess that means we'll have Darby for the summer then, and I'm okay with that. You know, I'm okay with that. So after that was Hook and Jericho. I heard somebody on commentary call him Lion Hook, and I almost vomited. Um, versus Gates of Agony, Bishop Khan, and Toa Liona. I mean,
I didn't see this one, so but I can only imagine.
Hook and oh sorry, Lion Hook won. Um, so Joe won, the Elite won, Jay White won on Darby. Darby took a crazy chair shot where he got dropped right on the chair and it bent right through it. Lion Hook defeat the Gates of Agony, which sounds like a WWE 2K24 tag team. And the main event was Willow versus Rio. Mercedes Monet comes down to help out Rio, or helps out Willow. Apologies, I got distracted there by Grayson Waller's flamboyant outfit. Um, and then they shake hands afterwards, and Willow wins that. So it's kind of like that's big business.
It is big business.
So did you want to go first about what your thoughts are about all this, or should I? Because as our text messages went through last night, I have a few.
Yeah, I mean, go for it. You can start.
Okay.
I like I said, I just kind of. I haven't.
Well, so
This is the first show I made a point to turn on when it
same,
started. But
same.
again,
From start to
I wanted
finish,
to
I was
just-
in it. Start to finish.
Right. Well, yeah. So I wasn't in it start to finish just because after Wardlow and Joe, I saw parts of the Elite in that match, and I'm a big fan of Penta, so
I am too.
um,
I am
so
too.
like that was fine. But then after that, I didn't honestly I didn't even realize like until after the show that Mercedes had come out again. But
Nobody knew, supposedly. That's the first reports I read. So that's a whole other different topic. That's a whole, but
yeah,
we'll get
they
there.
Probably didn't expect it because the whatever the marketing around this wasn't great. But anyway, so you can go because my opinion is pretty just like
Yeah.
it's
So
another AEW show.
well, so and that's what you kind of criticize me for when I say that a lot.
No, I
You do. You do. No, you
He's-
do. Okay,
you don't
here we go.
normally
Oh my
watch it.
God. This
You
is
don't
why we're
normally
in couples counseling.
You don't normally watch it right off the bat. So
Anyway, this is why we're in couples counseling.
This is a first for you in a while.
Anyways, I think I'm gonna sign up for TNA Plus tonight. By the way, that just hit my ADD hours. But don't laugh at me, Dad. So I'm not being destructive because I believe they do have a lot to work with. Okay. I think Mercedes Monet drastically helps that women's division. If you're putting the men's and the women's roster together, I would say she's a top 5 wrestler in AEW. If you're putting both rosters together. Based on what she brings, the history she brings, the storyline. Well, okay, let's just take storyline away because we know they don't do those. The history, what she brings, who she is personality-wise, how she's always that personality, and how she can make anybody look good. There's 5 people off the top of my brain that I could... Four other people in AEW that I believe can do that. Besides her. And that's pretty much it. She's probably at the bottom 5 of the top 5 of both rosters, but I still think she's top 5. Okay? See? And I'm not being destructive. Thank you. Now, these are more questions for you than a rant, because I've been in between on this all day. Oh, look at that. Advertisement for Money in the Bank. Oh ho, combo tickets on sale now. Put the regular ones on sale. They gave her the Punk treatment. Would you have done that?
No.
I don't.
I was trying to remember. We had this conversation when like the news kind of broke because they announced big business and it made it was clear what they were doing. That I wouldn't do it that way. Like I think we had this conversation where I specifically said I would not put her, just have her walk out at the beginning of the show, do a quick promo, and then walk back without something else happening. Somebody interrupting her, doing some sort of face-off, or just doing a run-in. Like, that's what I don't know why they did it that way. Like, obviously, like, anyone who understood who Mercedes Moné was knew she was going to be there at some point. So they would have been fine to wait and have her do a run-in or have her do some kind of like surprise or throw her coming out in the middle of the show or something. But they did not do that.
So I share those same issues, and I think where you put her, that affected the rest of the card. And that's why the card kind of felt the way that it did when they got past the third match. Because everything that the fans had inside them were gone.
Yeah.
Now, if I am putting her on first, I'm making an announcement the night before that she will be here.
Yeah.
One, could help push up ticket sales at the gates for those seats that are still open. Two, you double the excitement for people that already know they're going, right? Three, it helps push any bird she has twice as fast through the door.
Yeah.
Like, so right there, if I had to put her on first, no matter what, yeah, I would have made the announcement the night before. I would have. I just now here's the issue that we were talking about. How long do you think this lasts? Because to me, it already feels like the Ospreys thing is stale. They're doing the right thing by having him come out and like cut a promo, and then he's gone. But when he comes out now, I feel like it's not the same level of excitement. So how can they protect her, or do they just got to play it day by day?
Well, they have to. I think they have to just. I think they just have to put her right into programs, right? Like, you know, although Osprey's wrestled a couple of times, or at least once now, twice maybe, but
Yeah,
um,
which is fine. But it's
like,
just when he comes out and does the bruv thing, like that gets pe- people pumped. But then after that, there's just like, oh hey, he's back. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, yeah. I mean, I think they're just saving him for bigger stuff, right?
agreed.
Like,
Which is smart. Which I agree is smart. Do
right.
you?
Yeah, but
Agreed.
that's the problem. Like, so they're either going to
Right.
save him for bigger stuff, and you're going to get annoyed that he just comes out and then doesn't do anything, or you're not. You're going to see him every week, and then it's going to be like, eh, you know, um,
Yeah, but there has to be an in between, right? Like there has to be a way an in between to keep this fresh. I mean, what we're on year 7 of the Bloodline right now, right?
yeah,
Like that's just so that's my only big concern with her is having her on first, the crowd kind of dying, ticket sales not hitting it. Did she have her claim the fame in AEW? Like, yes, they were chanting CEO, which a betting man would probably say we're gonna see CEO versus what, Dan?
DMD.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Because she did it the same exact way.
Yeah.
My other thing is, if you're Tony, do you let her come back halfway through the card, or no, at the end of the card like that, or do you tell her go to the hotel now?
Um. Well, I think you let her come back. I mean, I think the more you
Okay.
see her, the better. Like, I think that's fine. Like, that's better than at least we got something where she was somehow involved,
Okay.
right? Like I would have preferred they flip that maybe, right? Where she gets involved first, and then you take an opportunity to say, you give her a mic and tell her to like cut the promo then, after she's gotten involved. But they didn't do it. They did it the other way, and they gave her that treatment. And I agree with you on the I would have announced her because even though the wrestling world and the online community knew that she was going to be there,
Yeah, there was some thought, right?
AEW
Big bank.
AEW didn't really drop the big business, didn't really drop the they didn't drop the kind of hints they dropped with Punk,
No.
right? Like, so with Punk, it was obvious he was going to be there, even though they never said it, right? But it was obvious. Yeah, they named a show that obviously was going to play on her character and whatnot, but they didn't they didn't drop any other kind of hint to say she would be there. So I agree with you. They should have just outright said, um,
She's confirmed.
she's gonna be
Be
here,
ready.
or yeah, whatever. And then, but they didn't. So
No, and I think that's the biggest drop of all of this. I think that would
yeah,
substantially help their viewers, and I think that would have kept their view. That probably would have put their views at that 850 to 900,000 mark. Because then people would be like, okay, she's there to start. Let's see if she's there to finish the show.
mm-hmm.
So she came back out. I don't know if you saw this. She was kind of dancing on her way down. I get that's her gimmick, but it's like,
Kind of like Jeff Hardy that time. Remember?
yeah,
Remember he came back to save Matt, but he did the
yeah,
first.
yeah. All the way down like the 6-inch ramp.
Right,
Yeah.
and it's like, wait, I thought you were coming out to save your brother. Like,
Yeah. What are we doing here, bro? Yeah. Or bruv.
Right.
What are we doing, bruv?
Bruv.
What are we doing, bruv? Um,
Uh, yeah.
yeah. And then the other thing, questioning mid card cut title.
For her?
She looks at Julia Hart, right? That's the mid card title.
Oh, she looks at Julia Hart. Yeah. Is Willow still carrying a New Japan belt? I can't remember.
I thought she dropped that the last time she was over there.
Maybe she did.
Yeah, she. Nope. Never mind. Sorry. Uh, on on July 5th she lost it, right? Yeah. But yeah, so it's like you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't great. It just wasn't great. It just fell. It just fell short. That's all.
yeah.
It fell short. But as far as mid card title,
I mean that's kind of
I mean, maybe
what
that's where you start. Just because, right? Like they have Adam Copeland going after the TNT title.
yeah, cool. No one cares.
Well, the real Jim is back. The real AEW Jim is back.
No, but is this not your biggest star in the company right now? Sting retired. MJF is having his shoulder fixed and trying to figure out what he's doing next. Who's left? Joe? And I love Joe. I love Joe back from his indie days.
Well, so I think an important distinction is that question is a different answer depending on who you're asking. Right?
Sure, it's that there is bias to that question.
Well, and especially with AEW fans, right? So if you ask, I think you actually could get three different answers. You ask a WWE fan who their biggest star is, and I think you get your answer, and that's somewhere in your answer. They might even say Edge, right? Or Adam Copeland. Right?
Yeah.
They'll probably say a WWE guy, or they'll say, generally speaking, he's not there right now, but MJF might be the consensus.
Right. That's what I was thinking, right?
Yeah. But since he's not there right now, he's out of the equation. You ask a wrestling fan, like just a general wrestling fan, you probably get, okay, Mercedes, Joe, you might get somebody, who's going to mention an Osprey or something like that, right? You
okay, sure.
Right, like maybe.
No, sure, that's fine.
Talking to somebody who's generally just a general wrestling fan and not necessarily a bigger fan of one or the other. You ask an AEW fan now, and the last people they're going to tell you is Mercedes and Adam Copeland and Bryan Danielson, right? Well, maybe Bryan Danielson's in there. They're going to tell you it's Ospreay, it's Okada, it's Eddie, it's Darby, it's all the people that were organically brought in through AEW that maybe had like an indie following, maybe not, but like we're not mainstream people, you know, for the general wrestling fan and certainly for the WWE fan. Half the WWE fans probably don't even realize who Ospreay and Okada are. Wrestling fans in general know. And then AEW fans think they walk on water. And I mean, listen, Ospreay is great in the ring, or can be great in the ring. And um, certainly good matches that we've seen with him, and I've seen live, and you and I have seen live together.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not the same. It's a different product. So I was pointing out that it's interesting to me because I think that question gets answered so differently.
So
Depending on who it is.
No, I agree. I completely agree because we know how toxic this group of people can end up being. That's for damn sure. So here, while you were explaining, I wrote down a list of people that I think are basically the top. Just top at being name value, not what they can do in the ring, but just top based on their brand and who they are. Okay.
Yep.
And then you just tell me that person or Mercedes. So let's start off with Ospreay.
Me personally, I think Ospreay's a bigger star.
Okay,
more people
that's fine.
I think have to be exposed.
Yep, that's fine. Kenny.
Sasha or Mercedes, right now.
Right now.
Sure,
Agreed.
Mercedes right now.
Joe. Wait, so would your answer change if Kenny was healthy?
It'd be really close. I don't know if it would change. I'm going to be honest.
Okay.
I'd be thinking a lot harder about it just because I think Kenny's great, but I think he's kind of past where his greatness was too.
I think his flame has kind of dropped from the heights of where he was. I think we're almost at the time now where Kenny's going to start preparing to pass the torch. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So while we go through all of these, just picture if everybody is healthy, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Joe. Some Boa Joe.
No. I think Mercedes is a bigger star there. Certainly, I think more
Agreed.
recognition.
Agreed. MJF. Probably MJF, right?
MJF, by far.
Yep.
MJF,
No, I agree. That's fine.
MJF, if he was still active, I think he'd be top 5. If he was active right now, I think he'd be top 5 in the industry.
I think he still is.
Well, that might be true too. I was going off people that are active, but yeah, I would put him top 5 across all brands right now.
Okay, Bryan Danielson.
Mercedes.
Agreed.
Bryan for me is another one. The flame is leaving.
Well, and it depends. And to me, he kind of feels like Kenny. You can only get the best out of them with the right storyline. They need that storyline. They're great in the ring, but then they kind of just look like great athletes without anything backing it up.
Yeah.
Copeland.
It's problematic because it's not problematic, I guess, but it's a little problematic because they're just really good wrestlers, Kenny and Danielson, but they're no longer like big storytellers because they're very focused on only telling the story in the ring, and they're not into that tell a story in between the match anymore.
Agreed. Copeland.
Mercedes.
Okada.
Probably Mercedes because he doesn't have enough name recognition over here, but he's hopefully going to get it.
Okay. Darby.
What's gonna?
No, it's same here, bro. Same here, bro. Same here, bro.
I mean, Mercedes is just widely more recognized than Darby still to this day, but that's a shame that that's the case. But yeah,
agreed. So, the Bucks.
I'll give it to Mercedes, but just by a hair.
I think the Bucks have turned into what Kenny is. I think they're kind of at that part of their.
I'm not there yet. I think
they got there before Kenny.
could turn that around.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I think like they're a little more off the leash of whatever they were trying to be. So I like them playing into this EVP thing. As far as like story background goes, but yeah, I'll give it to her by a hair with them.
Okay. Orange Cassidy.
That's another one that hurts my soul to say, but it's going to be Herb just because he doesn't get enough credit industry-wide either.
Bro, you don't got to tell me. I'm still trying to find his figure.
I mean...
Britt Baker.
Wait a minute. I thought you had one.
Huh? No.
I mean, I thought you had another one because you gave me one.
Yeah, so I found your one, but I bought 4 others I wanted at the time, and now I'm kind of like I should probably get another one just to make sure. But they're supposedly doing a blood and guts one I read, so I might wait for that because that'd be pretty cool.
Oh, that'd be good.
Yeah, right. So we did Cassidy. Britt Baker.
Mercedes.
Correct. Statlander.
Mercedes.
And Julia Hart.
Mercedes. This is the problem. For AEW, this is the problem for AEW. Is that,
so she's, you said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. She's bigger than 11 of them. And that's what? Pretty much everybody top in the company? You're not putting Cesaro over her, or whatever he's called now. Oh, sorry. Moxley. Let's throw that in there, too.
I haven't seen anything with him recently. What are they even doing with him?
Rehab.
I mean, he's been out there. Him and Claudio have been tagging up, but like it's not like there's nothing great going on with him. So it's probably going to be her for now because he's just kind of out in the weeds somewhere.
Agreed. Yeah, I mean, what's that, 12?
Yeah.
So that's my concern with this. I just think the show should have been handled a little bit differently. Since she's the biggest person on your roster that's still active. Because that's pretty much everybody that you would say could take that title from her. You're not putting Claudio over her. You're not putting Moxley over her since he's been gone. She's the best female wrestler in both AEW. She's probably best female wrestler in both AEW and WWE.
Yeah.
It's closer in WWE than I would like to admit, but I mean, this is the concern, right? She's like their lifeline. Because if this doesn't work out, then what do you do?
We talked about a long time ago, like, what are they doing in general and stuff like that. And my thing is, like, I still tend to think that, like, Tony is just content with 800,000 a week and 0.27 as long as he can secure some sort of TV deal, and that remains to be seen. But depending on what happens there,
yeah, that's.
I think he talks like he wants to be the biggest wrestling company in the world,
but he probably.
So. I think he just wants to do what he's doing because this is just his childhood dream playing out, right? Like, so.
Yeah, no, I agree, but this is the concern, right? Like, and this is why, like, people online have said I've been too critical, or our other buddy said you got to give it a shot, but he's also way more critical than I am. But it's like, this is why they have to do everything in their power to protect her, right? Everything. Like, this is, and she's their lifeline, and they only hit 800,000. Like, and then they had her at the Boston Garden the next night for the Celtics game.
Yeah.
It's like, that's wild. That is wild. And we've never seen her off script, right? She's always had a storyline. Even in New Japan, she was title chasing the whole time. She wasn't just there to wrestle individual A or B or C. She was title hunting, so that was her storyline. So that what you're gonna endeavor do here is title hunt? Because that's gonna get stale.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, because it's gonna be that much of a difference in the ring, right? She's head and shoulders above Julia Hart, so that title, null and void. Statlander stands a chance, but that's if Statlander can stay healthy. But then, what are we gonna get? Willow and her again? But then it's like, you gotta tell that story of like where this all started. Like, it started in New Japan. That's why, like, I would save her for their next big show. She wouldn't touch Dynamite or a Collision or nothing. Like, their next big during the week show, she would be out there.
Yeah.
But you can have her cut backstage promos, backstage videos, do whatever you want to do. But, like, we just went through 12 people who are probably that had three of them have started the company, and she's already bigger than them.
Yeah.
Like, that's a tough pill to swallow, right? Like, that's... So, I don't know. So, back to the card. It's tough, because I feel like where they put her in the card that they should have announced. But then I think that's why some of the fans were kind of, like, out of it by the third, by Lion Hook versus Gates of Agony. Should have just had that on a pre-card match. And then it's kind of like, she was out with the fans at the end, but it's like, that didn't really do anything. And everybody probably flipped through once they saw her at the beginning of the show. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
They're probably like, alright, cool. I caught it in time. Let's go see what else is on. Like, so that's rough. But I'm glad she's finally happy. I know she's been having issues with this for a while now. Like, she's wanted to find a place where she can just kind of be herself and take a chance on herself. I don't think it's a good omen that she keeps saying in all the podcasts that she does that she's eventually going to be back at WWE. Because then it kind of makes me feel like if it's the first thing that doesn't go her way, does she just take off to WWE? Like, is that what she does? Because she knows that she got her way the first time, right? Like I would, like, if I was Tony, I would be like, I understand you feel that way about WWE, but can we, like, not talk about that while you just started here? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you just appeared. Can you, like, just calm down on that at least until you're 6 months in? Like, because I feel like that's, do you know what I mean? Like, that's just kind of like, oh, cool, she's here. And she's already talked about going back. Like, because she said, I will be back there one day.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, so WWE is just to get your leverage up then? Like, I don't know. So on paper, the card looked awesome. Like I said, 8 out of 10, 7 out of 10. I think the way the card performed, what did we agree? I think a 6 out of 10, and we gave her promo a 6 to 7 out of 10 because she was jumping all over the place. Talked about her family, talked about betting on herself, said, I'm home, talked about how she had dropped out of school. You could see it was like a big personal thing for her. Like she had the tears coming, right? She like this, like it hit to have a crowd of 7,700 people like chanting for her, and like you could see it like get her emotional, which is awesome. Which is why we still watch professional wrestling to this day. But it's kind of like, all right, now let's see what's next, right? Like that's where we are with this. Like I think 3 shows down the line from now, we'll have a better grasp of what they're trying to do. Correct?
Yeah. I think so, yeah.
So, my last question on the AEW stuff that I had for you, because like I said, I'm not turning this into a rant. What would you do with her next? Next week? Next month? What would you do?
Well, I would, yeah, she's got to be there all the time. Like, they can't have these things they're doing with Ospreay and what they did. Well, Okada seems to be like he's going to be there every week, so that's good too. But like, they can't do one of those deals where she's not there all the time. I think she had it on her Instagram that she'll be there next Wednesday or something. So, if she's going to be a regular, then great. I think you put her into matches right away. Like, you gotta like give the people something here, right? So
yeah,
that's something.
But who would you
matches
put her in there with?
Well, it's AEW. They'll put her in with anybody, like just because, right? They'll bring in somebody from Ring of Honor and have her squash them, maybe, or they'll bring up somebody local, and just have them have a 5-minute match that just lets her kind of, shake off maybe some of the rust too, because she hasn't had a match in how long,
Yeah, that's true.
And then they'll develop whatever they're developing with Willow and Julia, maybe, for now. And then, I don't know. If they let her take the title, then fine. She takes the title, and then I think if you're them, you have her take that title and go right into the world title. Let her carry both for a little bit, right? Like, was she the first one to do 2 belts in WWE, or was that Becky? Like, right? Because was it Becky 2 belts or Banks 2 belts or something?
Becky 2 belts.
2 belt Banks. I can't remember who came first. 2 belt Banks or Becky 2 belts?
Becky did it at the same time that Brock did it.
Okay, so, but like, so maybe 9:30 at night this happens. I don't know what's going on.
There we go. We're back.
We're back. I don't know why, but like 9:30 at night, it just happens.
Jesus. People are going to think we got the cameraman from XFL, trying to sabotage our show. Trying to sabotage our show.
So maybe you just let her do that, and you have her carry both belts for a little bit. Why not? Like we just laid out a reason why she's your 3rd most recognizable person in the company, or she's in your top 3 most recognizable. So let her carry both for a little bit and let people challenge her, right? Like, I mean, you built up Jade like that for a long. You gave Jade like a Goldberg run because of her stature and her size and her physique. Why not let Mercedes do it then?
Yeah, I mean, I would. She's probably one of the most influential wrestlers in the last decade.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, give her the 2 belts. The only problem is, who else are you going to sign to go after her? Because I don't think there's anyone there that can catch her. So is she going to have a bloodline type reign? or there's some crossover from New Japan that happens and she drops the belt.
Yeah, there might be some crossover
She has
there, but
she has to pick up a belt at Wembley.
to get up at Wembley or just defend one. I mean, I don't think they'll wait till Wembley, unless
I would wait till Wembley
unless you
if
let
you're
the
protected.
Julia thing, unless they let her
Build.
carry TBS for now and build to championship.
Correct.
That's fine.
Yes, agreed. So, yeah, I mean, so that was the AEW part of our show. So there you go, everybody.
That's like almost an hour in AEW. That's crazy.
Yeah, Dan can get off my back about it now.
That hasn't happened in like 15 episodes.
Well, because they haven't had anything, and it's not because it's me. They just haven't had anything, right?
They haven't had a lot, that's for sure.
That was the thing to talk about. So we'll see how it continues to go. So, yeah. So, Dan, are we finishing the story April 7th?
Yes.
You think so?
1,000%. Yes.
All right.
1,000%.
So, let's start this segment off. What Dan wants. Da-da-da-da-da. There you go. Yeah. Da-da-da-da. What would make you the happiest at WrestleMania from both nights and how it ends Sunday? And then what do you think will happen from both nights and finishing Sunday?
So, I think what I want to see. Well, night one, I want to see. I want to see. What do I want to see? I don't know what I want to see for night one, to be honest. I don't know. I don't know what I want to see. Like I assume what needs to happen is that Rock and Roman need to win night one somehow, because I don't think you want Cody going into night two with a first night victory, right? Or if he does get a victory, then something needs to happen after to make night two harder, right? Like it has to be a journey still. We're still in a journey. There's still one more hurdle to get through, and that hurdle is going to be made worse somehow. So either they lose or maybe they win and something big happens afterwards, that they gang up on Cody and they beat him senseless with chairs, and that's how the show ends, maybe. So I think what I probably want to see is Seth turn on him, and I think that helps with. Well, actually, no, because Drew is really playing more of a heel now too. So it's hard to get Seth to turn and be a heel, and then you have Drew and Seth like heel versus heel.
What is this, AEW, Dan?
I'm just saying, like I'm trying to make it so it's not that. I'm trying to make.
You are like a kid at Christmas trying to figure this out, and it's like I feel like I stumped you with the first question ever here.
I think what I want is I want Rock and Roman to
win Saturday
night one.
Okay.
Right. Because I think you just need that, and also I think you need it to be tribal rules on Sunday night so that
tribal warfare.
Yeah. Because you just need that.
Okay.
You need that so that they can do more and there can be interference and there can be all this, right? So if Seth and Cody went over on Saturday, then it's supposed to be just one-on-one, and that So whatever. So I want them to win. I think that's what's going to happen too. I just don't know how. I don't know if it's just going to be clean and they're going to let Seth and Cody like ride high after night one, or if Seth's going to turn or something like that, right?
So that's the want and the think?
The want is them to go over. Yes, the think is that maybe Seth turns on Cody.
Oh, the think is Seth turns on Cody. Okay.
I think.
It's not this hard, Dan.
And the think is very hard. The want is easy enough. The think is very hard. Sunday night, I certainly want Cody to win now. This time, I think it's time. And what I want is that he wins it. He wins it on his own merit, without interference or without The Rock turning on Roman. And what I want is Roman to lose, and that's when Rock says, you're not even, you can't be head of the table, you can't be the tribal chief.
So
that's what I want. I think that's what they're gonna do too, because I don't think they want to diminish Cody finishing the story by having a bloodline member technically turn on Roman so Cody can win, right? Like, it kind of diminishes the moment for him. I think at best what you could do is, at worst what you could do is Roman needs help and The Rock turns his back on him but doesn't actually do anything to impact the match. What, lack of action is almost as bad as taking action, right? I think that's what they'll do. They'll give Cody his moment, and you'll kind of see Rock is kind of staring at Roman like, dude, we gotta talk because this ain't gonna work anymore, But that's the other thing, because you want to let Cody celebrate in this moment too. So, how much can you really do with Rock and Roman also? So that's that. What's yours?
So mine was similar to what you had. However, I was thinking today, due to Rock's recent promo, where he referred to himself as the final boss.
That was good too.
Is there a way they get to Cody taking the belt off The Rock? And do they do it at Madison Square Garden, where they rob Dusty of the belt?
Is there a way so Cody has to lose?
Because technically, Cody wouldn't be able to challenge Roman again.
So Cody has to lose, and then Rock has to turn and take the belts, and then Cody...
Because Rock helps Roman over. So Cody loses Saturday night. Rock helps Roman over. Rock looks at the fact he had to help Roman beat Cody. Roman already doesn't like all the attention Rock gets when Rock comes to the ring. That starts to butt a little bit more. They have their tribal chief match, but stipulation is it's for the strap. Cody goes get the strap off of Rock at Madison Square Garden where Dusty was robbed. That's my hypothetical.
Okay. That's not what you want, though.
No, that's my hypothetical.
That's just out there. Okay.
Yeah.
I wouldn't like that.
No, I don't think I would like it if it happened that way either. I just thought about that as I was going through podcasts today. Because I think it extends the Cody stuff too long. But then again, you really don't have anybody to go after Cody for the belt right away. So you have something to do. Because
I think they turned to Gunther right away.
But Gunther wants to take time off.
So, a lot of guys want to take time off, but then when you dangle a championship, chase in front of them.
Yeah, I guess, right? What I think's gonna happen, I think it's gonna be Bloodline rules Sunday night. And this is kind of what I want to happen. I want it to end Sunday. With Cody with the strap. I want all of the things that we've seen The Rock make mention of or throw out there. For instance, he doesn't hold up the 1, he holds up the L. When he was talking about he's going to make sure you lose, he was looking directly into at Roman. Paul's been giving the Rock a bigger announcement than he has Roman when Paul's out there with him. So it's kind of like Cody takes his trap, and I don't think Cody wins it clean over Roman. I think we get to a point in the match where Rock pulls semantics, Roman loses because of the Rock, and the rest of the bloodline is kind of stunned, and they don't know what to do. My only concern is, though, I told you earlier today, let me see here. I told you earlier today, it was basically said, when did I tell you? Yeah, no, I told you about Rock's schedule, right?
5-1 to 8-1.
So 5-1 to 8-1, Rock's basically gone.
But I could only find that through Dave.
Yeah, so it's 50-50 at this point, correct?
Right.
But that's still something to keep in mind when we're talking about this card, because that's going to determine a lot, right? Because he's going to be gone for 3 straight months then. So what do? You have this turn into a Twitter feud? Just like you did with The Rock?
Maybe that's why they've been testing out all these long-ass TikToks and Instagram posts he's been putting out.
No, that's true. Or does The Rock take over the bloodline then, and then he has Paul come out ever so often and make these call-outs to Roman, and now Roman has to go through the rest of the bloodline. Because The Rock, once again, referred to himself as the final boss. You know what I mean?
Maybe.
So it's like... But, I mean, what is... We still don't have the full card, right?
No, not officially. I mean, we're getting closer, right? We have the 2 women's championships matches. We have the 2 men's championship matches. We have Intercontinental match. We have a tag team championship match. We have a challenge for brother versus brother with the Usos. So I assume that'll go. We have...
Yeah, so let's just go through it all. So we already did Cody versus Roman. We already did the Bloodline tag match, against Seth and Cody. Seth versus Drew. What do you think happens?
I think it's Drew.
Yeah. Let me keep note here. Let me keep note. Yeah, I think you're right. I think lately Drew's the best he's ever been in the ring, promo wise, personality wise. I think this is the Drew that we expected to see when they started calling him what was his nickname when he got fired? You remember? Was it the Prodigy?
The Chosen One?
Yeah, the Chosen One. Yeah. So, I think this is the best Drew that we've ever had. So, let's hope we have it for a bit. And I would not mind seeing Drew versus Gunther either. I think that could be pretty good. Hard-hitting, tells a good story. Yeah. So, fingers crossed for that, because that'll be awesome. Rhea versus Becky.
Rhea.
That's tough. That's tough, Dan. That's tough.
Yeah, I don't think it's that tough.
I think it's tough. I think it's Rhea, because then I think we're going to see Becky take some time away.
Yeah.
Now that I think about
Her
it, yeah.
Seth. Her and Seth.
Yes. Yes.
Together.
Gunther versus Sammy.
I actually think it might be Sammy, because I think they're going to let Gunther chase a different title. So I think they're going to take it off.
So you think Sammy?
Yeah.
I think
Sammy's going to be a bridge champion to somebody else.
I think Gunther wins. Gunther comes out on Raw. He has to fight Gable, and I think Gable takes it. At least that's what I want to happen.
Oh, that'd be interesting. I mean, there seems to be a lot of anger about Gable not winning.
Yeah.
I actually think it'll be the other way around. I think Sammy wins, and then Gable wins it from Sammy the next night. You know, because they can play the I couldn't beat you in the gauntlet. I want that match now for the title, you know?
Yeah, no, that's true. That's a good pick. So at least we differ on that one. Judgment Day versus the 5 tag teams in a ladder match, which is awesome. Awesome.
What were the other teams now?
That's a good question. They're still having the qualifiers tonight.
I don't think the Judgment Day will retain, because I think they also are probably trying to figure out what they're doing with
Damien
and the briefcase, because they got to do that before July. So I think I don't know who, but I don't think the Judgment Day retains there.
So we could go over that one after SmackDown, because they'll be further along on that one. Logan Paul versus KO versus Randy Orton. Supposedly that's the match.
I think that is the match.
It's just weird to put KO and Orton in there. I mean, I think we're gonna see a lot of KO and Orton just pounding on Paul in this match. Like, they're just gonna use him like a rag doll. Would you have him drop? He's at 156 days, I think they said tonight.
No, probably not. I think Logan probably takes it, because you have a triple threat, so you have an easy way to
put it over.
You know.
Yep.
Right? Like Randy RKO's Owens, and then somehow Logan Paul comes in and hits him with the belt. And wins Owens or something.
Or KSI.
Oh yes, since he's
face to face
involved now.
Next week, Dan, face to face, Cody versus Roman.
There we go.
LA Knight versus AJ Styles. I low key think this could be match of the whole event.
Yeah, I think it could be, for sure. It could steal the show. I think LA Knight wins.
God damn it.
But you don't want us to have the same picks?
The only one we have is the Sammy and Gunther one. And then
they're different.
Yeah.
No, that's what I'm saying. You don't want us to have the same picks.
No, Dan, I like being a lone wolf. Jesus. I'm a one-man wolf. And brother versus brother.
Jay. Sorry, Jay.
Agreed.
Unless...
Do you think we get a run-in?
Solo comes out and helps Jimmy, and Jimmy wins, and then maybe you get a triple threat or something. I don't know. You go a lot of ways.
I think Solo does get involved, but I think Jay still finds a way to win.
Yeah.
So, is it bad that we kind of are treating this card like it's predictable? Like, do you think that's going to hurt some of the excitement? Or have they told these stories good enough that it's still going to be great?
I think they've told these stories good enough that it's going to be great. Like, either way. And we could be wrong. Like, this is the thing. You never know with them. We could just be wrong about what they're going to do.
Yeah, no.
Right?
No, right. These could all be swerves or have some type of tie-in to somebody coming back or something. And then it's just...
Yeah.
So... Yeah, I mean, it's only a little bit away, Dan.
Less than a month.
Only a little bit away. We're almost there, Dan.
Weeks.
We are almost there.
3 weeks in the day. On
So,
an 85-inch TV.
yeah. Thank you, Best Buy, for eventually not screwing this up. Yeah, so, I mean, if AEW can keep up the pace, I would say we're back. We're back.
Yeah, right? Because in the beginning of this pod, we were saying that. Are we entering a golden age of wrestling? Because AEW was doing interesting stuff and fun stuff to watch, at least. And maybe we won't say they were competing, but they were gaining interest of wrestling fans.
No, but you had to talk about them. You had to talk about them. If you were talking wrestling, you had to talk about them.
Well, and there was a time for a while that they were better than Monday Night Raw. They weren't better than SmackDown, but they were.
No.
Raw was still stagnant. Remember?
Yeah, well, because
Raw was so stagnant.
Yeah, because they had a rapist controlling everything. So that'll do it to you.
He was controlling SmackDown too, and SmackDown was
yeah,
so great.
And he was still controlling everybody drinks. So that's what got him in trouble. So yeah, I mean, and just think if TNA gets Full Sail and they still continue to conquer everything, and then they get a TV deal. We're back, baby.
Yeah.
We are back. So, yeah, excitement. That's all I had for this unnumbered podcast.
Yeah, that's all we got for now. Oh, numbered. Yeah, because I mean now we're in a little bit of like the card is almost set. So now we're gonna enter that period of it's just gonna be building to these matches, nothing necessarily new. Oh. You like that?
Oh.
I see. Is that something new from today?
Yes. And then
Okay.
And then I told
you got there, brother.
And then I told my wife I had to bring home a Hogan.
Well, you have to keep up. You've
No.
only got 241 more Hogans to go before you're tied.
Dan, exterminating school was a lot cheaper than student loans. But yes. But yeah, I mean, it's great, right? And like I told you, there's so many great wrestling books out there now, too. But Deuce had just put her book out there. Nick Nemeth is on Busted Open as a co-host now. They're not sure when that's going to occur full-time, but it looks like Fridays work best for right now based on what he's doing with TNA. You have the Brian Jarowitz book out there. You have the Vince book out there that they're probably going to have to write an appendix or 17 to. You have the book Todd is God, the whole Todd's version of what happened with ECW. You have WWE going to Netflix. Like I said, TNA possibly taking over Full Sail if it's not expensive. Like, wrestling's cool again, and I think it's because of the Botched Wrestling podcast.
I mean, I'll take it for sure. Why not?
So, yeah, that's all I had, Dan. That all you had?
That's all I had.
Alright, well, as always, appreciate you tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe, and take a shower. You